with all the upheaval that's going on in the Ivy League universities right now, a lot of funding being cut. We've worked so hard for these opportunities, and what's happened? They've disappeared. Hello, and welcome to the Admittedly podcast. My name is Thomas Caleel. I'm the former director of MBA admissions and financial aid for my alma mater, the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. In this podcast, I don't promise easy answers or quick fixes, but I will use my decades of experience to help you achieve your education goals. Now let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the Admittedly podcast. I'm your host, Thomas Caleel, and today I'm going to take a little bit of a break from the schedule that I have planned for my podcasts this season, and I want to talk about something I'm seeing a lot of in my comments, in my emails, in our Early Edge Plus program. I wanted to address it head on. We're seeing a lot of students who had summer plans, especially around research, canceled with all the upheaval that's going on in the Ivy League universities right now, a lot of funding being cut, and I have many students that are coming to me saying, hey, listen, I've been working with this professor, or this professor had promised me they wanted to do research with me. I had something lined up for this summer, and the funding has vaporized. Likewise, in an uncertain economic climate, I'm having students come to me and say, I had an internship lined up, and now that has disappeared on me as well. It's April, and a lot of these students are juniors, and they're really stressed, and they're really scared because this is their summer. This is their big summer. We've worked so hard for these opportunities, and what's happened? They've disappeared. So let's talk about that and address that head on. First of all, don't panic. Take a deep breath. Okay, I know it's late. I know that we've missed a lot of opportunities, but that's okay. First thing I want you to remember is that admissions officers are human. They're going to understand what's going on. In fact, they're on campus in the middle, the eye of the hurricane, center of the storm. So they're very aware of the changes that are roiling college campuses and the economy right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to think about, okay, this is not fatal to my application, and I'm going to figure out how to integrate that a little bit later. I'm going to talk about that towards the end of the podcast. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to maintain good relationships with the companies and with the professors. We want to reach out to them. We want to say, listen, completely understand. I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity in the first place, and I understand that for reasons, circumstances beyond your control, we can't do this. But what should I do? Do you know other faculty who I might be able to approach to work with? You can ask business owners, do you know anybody else in the space or a related space or anything that I can talk to? Because if they liked you enough to offer you an internship or a research position, chances are they're pulling for you. Yes, they have a lot on their plate. They're trying to figure out how to survive in an uncertain moment in time. But I think it's really important that for you to realize that everybody's human and people want to help you. They want to help each other out. So that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to ask. Now, if that is not an option, if they say, look, I just have too much on my plate. I don't know. Everybody's panicking over here. Sorry, kid. Good luck. You're on your own. All right. First thing I want you to do then is take a step back and say, all right, what was I trying to address with this internship? Was I trying to get experience in marketing or finance? Was I trying to get exposure to the entertainment industry? Was I trying to get research experience? And then I want you to step back and say, all right, what are the core components of that? And, with the internships, with the jobs, it may just be that, look, at this point, you have to look for whatever job you can get. But make it worthwhile. Make it something that you're going to 5-6 days a week. You're working real hours. Maybe what you do is if you're trying to learn marketing, maybe what you do is you go find a class in marketing online. Look at universities, look at Berkeley Extension, UCLA Extension, for example. Those are two of my favorites because they provide college credits and they're hard, they're rigorous, but maybe a local community college is a great option for you. So let's say that you were interested in marketing. You had an internship that falls through. Okay. Well, maybe you go get a job at a local store and you're looking at them and you're saying, okay, what are you doing with social media? Can I help you with social media? Can I help with your marketing? Can we think about advertising? What's our pricing strategy like? Meantime, we're concurrently taking a class on economics, consumer behavior, psychology of consumerism, marketing, communications, whatever it is. And we're pulling together the best kind of artificial facsimile of what we were trying to accomplish. And in fact, sometimes you can even make that better. But remember, this is not, you can't just do this for 2 or 3 weeks. You need to commit. You really need to step back and say, okay, I am in this. I'm going to do this for 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, ideally 8 weeks. And I'm going to use the extra time that I have because of this job is a little bit different. I'm going to use it taking a class. I'm going to use it to work on my essays. I'm going to use it to position myself in the best way possible. If your interest was in research, it's a little bit stickier. You might want to look for a nonprofit that could benefit from some research. I know it's not the same as working in a lab. I know it's not the same as working with a professor, but we're doing the best we can under extraordinary circumstances. So really, really shake the tree. You have to go out there and you're going to have to hustle. You're going to have to ask your friends. You have to ask your family. You're going to have to ask teachers. You have to ask professors that, hey, I got stuck. What can I do? Is there anybody you know? Is there anything you can do to help? At the end of the day, you may need to get a job for the summer. You might need to take some classes. And then here's what I want you to do. Then I want you to step back and think strategically about this experience. For some of you, it might be an additional information essay where you're saying, listen, I was all keyed up, as one of my students was, to do research with a professor at Columbia, and their funding just evaporated, and they're not even sure what's going on with their lab. They can't possibly have me in this summer. So I did this, I did that, I made these other things, and this was the best I could do. But in other cases, it might be moved into the personal statement. So if, for example, you were trying to learn about marketing and you end up doing a job and taking a class in marketing and reworking their social media and increasing their followers by X times, and you created an ad campaign and created some promotions, that might move actually into the personal statement. That might be a far more compelling conversation around, hey, I got thrown this big curveball. What I do, I kind of stepped back, I reassessed, I created opportunity where there was none. And you know what? I learned a lot. And I learned a lot about hustle, and it's changed my perspective on marketing. It's made me realize maybe I want to look a little bit more at entrepreneurship because I liked having to scramble a little bit. I liked having to forge my own path. So I think there's a lot of really interesting ways that we can go about this. Just keep in mind that there's going to be a lot changing. And I think that there's going to be a lot more internships and summer experiences that are kind of thrown into uncertainty over the coming months. So again, I want you to breathe. And I want you to remember that how you react to this is much more important than anything else you were going to do this summer. Right? We want to take this in stride. We want to do the best we can. I have not yet heard of anybody losing scholarships to attend summer programs. Those seem to be doing okay right now. The universities seem to be honoring those commitments and still running those programs. But again, that might change. And in fact, I did have a conversation the other day with a student who had enrolled in a summer class and it didn't fill up, and the class was canceled and they had to scramble at the last minute. We generated some ideas, but the key thing here is creativity. Right? Because colleges, universities know, admissions officers know, nothing goes to plan in life. That's true in academia. It's true in the workforce. It's true in every aspect of everything, right? Murphy's Law. But how you react to that says a lot about your character, and it says a lot about who you are and how you will handle adversity at university. So we can actually spin a really, really, really good admission story out of adversity. You've heard me talk about adversity a lot. This is just one aspect of diversity. And it's something, though, that I think is important as families are struggling with this, as I'm hearing a lot about this. So I want to hear from you, though. What's your experience been? Have any of you had a summer program, internship or job rescinded? How are you dealing with that? If you go to our socials at admittedlyco, I'd really like to hear from you. I'd like to hear what's going on. And if you need some advice, I'm happy to put my brain on that with you and try and figure this out, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We're going to make it through. It's going to be a little bit of a rock and roll admission season coming up, but we're going to be prepared for that, and we're going to do our best. I look forward to hearing from you at admittedlyco on Instagram and TikTok. And also want to thank all of you for joining in on our free monthly webinars. We've gotten some great debate there. We've gotten some really, really interesting questions. If you missed it, you can go to Instagram and through the link in our bio, you can access the replays. We provide, I really go out of my way to provide a lot of free content. I hear from a lot of students who are talking about how this process is overwhelming. They may not have the money or the resources or the support, family support, to engage with a counselor, engage with a program. So we do provide a lot of free content. It's very important to myself personally and everyone at Admittedly. It's a shared mission that we have. So please join us. Please take advantage of all the free content and material and information we're putting out, and give us your feedback. I don't want you stressed and struggling about this summer. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Please take a moment to subscribe to the Admittedly podcast and download this episode. I welcome you to share your thoughts and questions with me. You can find us on social media at Admittedly Podcast. I look forward to continuing our journey together.